you want to go ahead and line those 6 up, Superintendent, please.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to all of you. This has been so painful, not just now, but for the past 40 years, maybe more. I got here in 72. I've watched as the Outer County, the County Commission, looked at what the Outer County needed, built the capital budget for both systems based on the Outer County. So that's why we have falling down schools. That's why we have deferred maintenance. That's really not enough investment in the urban children, the students living in Memphis and the unincorporated areas. That's our fault, all of ours. That's not the fault of the individual schools. We're at a place now where we have big corporations who sat on the TPC and came up with plans for a world-class system and failed to fund it. And their companies are getting pilots. They're not paying their full fair share for public education. That's why we were where we are today. It makes no sense to destroy communities, to tear apart our students, our families, our local businesses that could not get the investment they deserved in the communities that have just been named as a target to tear down the schools. And what will be left with the vacant buildings, with the vacant opportunities? What will we do to rebuild? We are rebuilding the river, but are we going to rebuild it by moving our students out and our families out? That makes no sense. That's not what we're about. Dr. King, long ago, when he said, "I have a dream," spoke of a promissory note, a check that had not been cashed. We're there. We're back there. We've not moved. The check is still due from the city council, the city mayor, the county commission, the state legislators, and our federal government. Let's get with it. Let's make this community the kind of community it ought to be. Thank you.
Hello, how y'all doing tonight? To everybody, I am Trudy Turner-Long, and I am a ALC community student that started, my parents built their homes over there. And what you fail to realize with ALC school is not just a number. ALC school is the foundation of ALC. Okay, and I don't understand when you make your decision with all these kids that you're dealing with, meaning that these children are walking to school and feeling safe because they have elderly people that's watching out for them. But you rather send them to Hamilton Elementary where it's worse than ever. I don't understand that. When you make your decision, when you go home at night, do you think about all these students that you're busing and all the students that you're sending them all across over the city? Do you know how dangerous that is? Do you know when you bus every child, which I was bused to go to Wooddale, instead of sending me back to in my own neighborhood, I had to go to Wooddale. And in that process, that bus had an accident, and a lot of us got hurt. But you rather use that to send our children everywhere than coming into the school. But I got a question for everyone up there. Have you ever been into each one of these schools and see what's going on in every school that you're about to close? Have you been in that neighborhood to see what these students are doing? So what I would like for you to do, I would like for you to come out to ALC and all the rest of these schools and show your support or see what's going on. And if you can do that for me, then we're doing good. Thank you.
Superintendent, board members, thank you very much. The last board member that has stepped foot in ALC was Kevin Woods. He came to our literacy event that we have every year called Read Around the Christmas Tree. Now, if you were there, you would have saw hundreds of people coming in, jamming their way to the school because they believe in literacy and they believe in our children. I know that you are focusing on business and being more efficient business-wise, and I know the numbers have to make sense. It appears that there's a little bit of underutilization, but in the case of other schools, it's only because district lines have been redrawn.
That's right.
Last year, when the recommendation was made, a board member said, well, why don't you just merge Norris with Alcee? And immediately she was interrupted by the person making the recommendation, and they said, it just wouldn't be a good fit. There wasn't a clearly articulated argument saying why children at Norris would be bused outside of their community when they are in fact within walking distance. We're talking about population trends moving out east. The poor that are immobile cannot move. We have 5 low-income apartment complexes in the Alcee Ball community that are within 1 mile, within walking distance to that school. The Clementine Apartments, Ruby Oaks Apartments, Hillview Village Apartments, Woodbridge Crossing Apartments, Rivertown Square Apartments, and there are over 1,500 kids in the area within walking distance so that we could achieve critical mass. That's an argument to keep the school open. The teachers, we've heard the same story about the teachers. Alcees are a little bit more unique. They come to school before the sun rises, they leave after the sun sets. They're crunching data numbers, trying to figure out common sense ways to achieve literacy, and I'm here to tell you that closing Alcee would systematically damage not just the community, our children. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Katina Broadway and I'm speaking on behalf of West Haven Elementary School. My daughter is a pre-K special needs child there. I've heard, as you said, it's not because it's not a bad school, it's a level 5 school, it's regarding the renovations. I feel that renovations is an equity issue. We're all taxpayers. We've renovated all over the city, particularly in East Memphis, recently some Midtown renovations, as well as those issues that are now trying to pull away from us outside. I do not think it's a lot to ask that as we're continually closing more schools in the Northwest and the Southwest at a record rate, that we consider putting a serious renovation on a school that is level 5 and highly utilized. In addition to that, what I think is more critical, and I think sometimes people forget, West Haven houses a number of special needs students. Special needs students, as I said, are special. They need the stability. This type of uprooting and moving and transporting, it can completely set them back by years. The level of trust that you have to establish with a child from such a young age to do basic functions is just, it's almost overwhelming to try to explain to someone who doesn't have a child in that arena. I urge you, I understand numbers, I'm a numbers person myself. I urge you to please take another look at West Haven Elementary and the renovations. I feel with as many closures as we have, we should be able to save at least 4 or 5 schools. Thank you.
My name is Patricia Snell. Today I found out about this meeting. I have grandchildren at Graves Elementary School. I stand before you not a native of Memphis, but a graduate of Coriopolis High School in Pennsylvania. When I moved here in 1972, I couldn't believe what was going on in this city, being raised in the North. We still have the same problems that we had when Martin Luther King was here. We're still trying to not do for our children. We're still trying to keep black people down. It's not right, it's not fair. I wonder when we gave up our charter, why we could not have had a lottery to fund our children. Something to fund our children. Now people, we've got to stop voting for these people that don't care anything about us. Nowhere in this United States of America is like Memphis, Tennessee. And our children are going to have to go out in the world. I've been all abroad. treated like that overseas, like we are here overseas. But when you come here, it's different. And people say, oh, there's no racism here. There's definitely racism here in Memphis, Tennessee. More so than anywhere that I've ever been, and I've been all over. But it's mainly because people of our own persuasion roll over and over and over and over and over and over again. So I'm fighting cancer. I'm a cancer patient. I'm going to speak my mind. It's wrong of you all to do our children like you're doing them. They deserve better. Thank you.
Good evening, board. My name is Brenda Williams. I'm a volunteer and a parent. I have two children, one coming from out of the 5th grade, and one is now in the 10th at Northside High. I come to represent Northside just to ask if y'all can just give us a little bit more time. Let us think if we bust the seats through 12th grade in Northside. If you want to close circle, we can get those children and still have them in the community so they wouldn't have to walk so far or the parents wouldn't have to go so far. But again, the education, they're at Cyprus. I thank them. They get out with internet, they get out with phone calls, text, however they can get the parents out. They have been getting through to us. So I'm just asking y'all if y'all can consider to continue to work on us communities and our scholars to try to do better. So I think it's the number of our schools at Northside, the reason why they want to close us down. But like we were saying that Manassa took some of our children and we had Fraser to take some of our children. But if we can make that a 6th through 12th grade school, now then we probably can prosper better on those numbers. And I know that their achievements there and their goals are great. So y'all continue to look into the school and keep us in your prayers. Thank you.
My name is Mayor Irving, elementary school, and closing every element will put a hardship on a lot of people. My children went there, my grandchildren went there, now my great-grands are there. A lot of grandparents are taking these children to school. So if you bus them, the kids will have to be standing outside in the rain or whatever. Then the bus driver, I don't trust them because most of the time they on the phone. And I see a lot of people, one lady had a child in her walker, or whatever, and one walking. In the rain, she had to come from 3rd Street all the way to River. If you go bus up to Florida, Kansas, that's a long way from where to walk with a child in a stroller and a child carrying a lamp. A lot of our older people in the neighborhood, we are taking our great-grandbaby schools because their mom are either working or they are trying to get an education so they can take care of their children. And we got a good system. Oak Grove Baptist Church adopted River Elementary. Those teachers up there are perfect. I got 2 great-grandbabies that ADHD. Those teachers have worked with them. For the last 2 times, they went on personal list, honor roll. They are really working with those kids up there. So do not close River Elementary.
Let me just again thank everybody for the very thoughtful comments, but I have a couple of reflections and a couple of things I want to say before I sit down. For everybody who knows, I'm actually a lawyer by trade, so therefore sometimes when the record is that open, it needs to be corrected. I want to make sure I'm clear. I'm not saying, we're not saying that West Haven is unsafe for kids to be there. If it was unsafe for kids to be there, they wouldn't be there. What we're saying is that when you look at the facilities index, there's a big complicated formula that you'll hear more about, we'll explain. As you get to a point where the building needs to be replaced, And as the building needs to be replaced, you start having safety issues. Just wanted to say that I don't want the headline to be, I don't want the Facebook chat to be, I don't want the discussion to be, we send babies to unsafe schools. That's not what I'm saying. So clear for me, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the facility index condition says that the school needs to be replaced. Having said that, what I also think is very important in this discussion, what I've heard over is community. I'm looking at a sign right now that says, "Don't kill our community," and I know how important these schools are in the community. But let me suggest this to you. The school has an awesome responsibility to educate these kids, but the school cannot solely be responsible for what goes on in the community. I heard one of our esteemed community members say, we need everybody involved. We need the mayors involved. We need elected officials involved, because this is not solely a school board issue. I'm so glad to see Wanda Howard here, one of our city council people, and I know she's committed to education. She's been for a long time. I'd like to ask her and ask you all to ask her to perhaps help us resolve our lawsuit. Yeah. We've got about $60 million. So if someone can figure out a way to resolve that. But it's also an issue when we start talking about resources that we continue to juggle what we have. But at the end of the day, this is the first step in a long process. I don't want the headline to be, I think I heard someone say, I'm not telling you guys, go get a plan. And what I'm saying is, we've done an analysis. We're going to continue to do an analysis. And throughout this process of analysis, if there are suggestions that the community has, we will listen to them. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying go get a plan. I'm saying as the plan is being developed, we want to make sure that the community has a voice. The voice starts today. It doesn't end today. I think I have some dates for, we got the dates for the individual school meetings.
Yeah, we'll get those.
If we have them now, I'd like to leave them out now just so people can know. Yeah, we got, here's for in terms of process, at 5:30 we'll have January 27th at Alsea Elementary and Advanced Middle School. January 30th will be Riverview and Gordon. February 3rd, Graves and Northside. February 14th will be West Haven. February 6th is Lanier. February 10th is Riverview Middle. So what I'm going to do is make sure we take the presentation and the documents. I heard some stuff, people were questioning the validity of the data. Well, we got the data straight from the Tennessee State Department of Education's report card. I didn't make it up. I didn't ask somebody to crunch the data. That's what the data is on the state website, so that's where that's coming from. So we're going to put the data online so you can see it. We're going to make ourselves available in addition to these meetings. I think the one thing that certain people don't have a tough time getting in contact with myself. I'm going to put my chief of staff, Reginald Porter, is heading this up. He's at porterrl@scsk12.org. Shoot me an email, and we're going to just sit down and do meetings with the community as this other process goes forward. I'm committed to doing that. So in closing, I just want to let you know I hear you. We're going to do an analysis again based on what we think is in the best interest of kids, and we look forward to working with each and every one of you on your communities. And thank you so much for your passion, and thank you for coming out. Thank you.